Hey there everyone, welcome back to another Game Vault video. As always, I'm Captain Beefy with the Game Vault, and we're going to talk about Concord. Once again, it's been a minute since we talked about this game. It's dead and gone, buried in the past, but its ghost lives on. Let's cue the music and we'll get right into it. Alright, so a Concord insider believes the original parent company will not survive this game's catastrophic failure. And I wouldn't be shocked, right? So we remember how this whole thing went down. I forget the name of the company. We're probably Monsters. That's it. Own the game. They developed the game originally, and I think they dropped roughly $200 million into it, if memory serves me correctly. And these are all rumored numbers. Nothing has been directly proven 100% on paper. But then when Sony acquired the company, they dropped another $200 million into the game to get it out there, and it lasted about 10 days on the market, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. That's a verifiable number, before Sony pulled the plug on it, shut it down, refunded everybody their money, and walked away. So anyway, a Concord insider alleges that the game's original parent company, probably Monsters, will not survive the game's catastrophic failure that saw it get shut down by Firewalk Studios and PlayStation in less than 2 weeks after its initial release due to a lack of players. You wonder why, right? Look at this. This is so gay. I mean, it's just absolutely terrible character design. Who wants to be this character? Just some dumpy, we don't know what it is. Yeah. And this thing's even worse, man. God. If you recall, PlayStation and Firewalk Studios shut down Concord back in September, with Firewalk Studios game director Ryan Ellis announcing on the PlayStation blog, "At this time, we've decided to take the game offline beginning September 6, 2024, and explore options including those that will better reach our players." He also shared that the company will be offering full refunds while we determine the best path ahead. Concord sales will cease immediately, and we will begin to offer a full refund for all gamers who have purchased the game for PS5 or PC. If you purchase the game for PlayStation 5 from the PS Store or PlayStation Direct, a refund will be issued back to your original payment method. So kudos to Sony for doing that. At least they recognized this game was a failure, and instead of going out there and trying to keep it limping along, they just said, you know what, let's pull the plug on this thing and let it die. I think it never topped 1,000 players on its initial release. I think it got up in the 800s, if memory serves me correctly. And for a multiplayer game that's 100% multiplayer, this wasn't a game that has a single player thing to it that you could play and then multiplayer is an option or whatever. No, this is a multiplayer 5v5 hero shooter. Wow, that's bad. Yeah, that's really, really bad. So yeah, they shut it down immediately and refunded everybody. No muss, no fuss, and that was great. Yeah, okay, this shows 697 was the all-time peak, I guess. Wow. Anyway, the announcement came after the game failed to attract any kind of substantial player base. When the game released on October 23rd, it had only hit a peak concurrent player count of just 697 on Steam. I thought it got up in the 800s, but I guess I'm wrong on that. It also did not appear to do well on PlayStation. The latest data from PSN profiles indicates that only 1,825 people purchased the game. Oof. True Trophies also reported that the game bombed out of the gate, landing in the 147th most popular PlayStation game on its weekly chart when it first released. Yeah, games are huge on their release date, right? That's usually when a game's going to do close to its best. That first weekend that it's out, the initial reviews come out and the review embargo's gone. So people have already pre-ordered it, so they've been waiting to play it. You may laugh if you're not a gamer, but people will take days off. If it's released during the week, it's coming out on a Wednesday or whatever, they're going to take a Wednesday and a Thursday and sometimes a Friday off to play that game and to get into it over like a long weekend or whatever. People will spend their vacation time doing that. There's nothing wrong with that, man. It's freaking awesome. If you've got the vacation time to do that and that's what makes you happy, then God bless you, go for it, man, because nothing better than just being able to you don't want that new game to get released and you're sitting at work going, oh man, I just can't wait to get home and play this stupid thing, So, yeah. In its second week, the game fell to 180th, When it was on early access and open beta, it was in the 29th position. I think it got around 2,000 during one of those, and then 1,600 on the other, somewhere around there. Anyway, after the game was shut down, it was reported that the game repeatedly cost $400 million to develop, not including what Sony paid to purchase Firewalk Studios. Colin Moriarty shared in a video uploaded to X that an insider informed him that Concord cost about $400 million to make. So again, $400 million, almost $500 million, and I think it took about 8 years to make this game. Right? Was it 8? Yeah, I think it was 8 years. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of money to invest into something to just shut it down after 10 days. In some ways, I would feel bad for this studio in other situations, but because they went for this woke garbage and they put pronouns in the game and they tried to do all this stupid nonsense, they made all the characters just hideous, absolutely hideous. There's not a character in there that's cool looking that would even interest me in playing. It has nothing to do with color and all that. It's just their design is awful. These colors, the color palette that they chose is disgusting. Everything looks horrible, and I have zero interest in playing as any of these characters. What, do I want to be Lizzo in armor? You know, do I want to be this weird transgender person with circular glasses and freaked out nappy hair? No, I don't want to be any of these people. They all look awful, absolutely despicable. The goofy guy with the goggles, you know, no, thanks, man. Give me somebody decent to play as, and you know, maybe I'd have some interest in the game. But no, these characters are all ugly and stupid looking, and that's one of the hugest reasons I think the game failed so miserably. Is the design of it was just abysmal, right? He went on to reveal that Probably Monsters, the original owner of Firewalk Studios and Concord, before selling to PlayStation Studios, Sony, and the game's original investors, had spent $200 million on the game before it even made it to its alpha state. So yeah, my numbers line up with what they're saying here. I mean, look at this lady. Looks like Sulu, modern day, in drag. Moriarty said, up to the point of the game went to alpha state, they had already spent $200 million on it, and it's unclear how much of that money is from Probably Monsters and the original investors into the game, and how much of that was from Sony. Next, he shared when the game had $200 million spent on it. It was basically in an alpha form in Q1 of 2023. From that point until the game launched, Sony spent another $200 million on it. The scuttlebutt behind the scenes about Concord is the game was in a laughable shape when it was shown. Basically, when the alpha was ready to go, he continued. It was in such horrible shape that Sony felt they needed to spend that much money again. So 200 plus 200 to get the game to the MVP status. That's minimum viable product, meaning I guess the first chance you could release this game that it would actually work, you know, even on the most basic level, I would guess. Anyway, not to the status of it being a great game, just to get it to viability. So yeah, that would be my assumption, is that this means the game works. It doesn't mean it's polished. It doesn't mean it works great. It doesn't mean all the, you know, bells and whistles are in it. It just works. A major expense was to urgently outsource much of the game to other studios to finish building the game out. And that 2 fundamental games were not worked on at all up to the point in which the game was shown in alpha. Onboarding, nothing about that. There was nothing about how players made their character, all that kind of stuff, or chose their character and get there. And monetization, 2 very expensive, very specific and boutique things that happen in games like this. And that's huge. One of the biggest draws in these games is, you know, your character design, right? Being able to create a cool character that you like. People in these online games where you're playing against other players love cosmetics, and these companies know it. That's why they monetize them. And some companies will charge you a couple bucks for an outfit. Some will charge you $30. I'm talking to you guys over at Diablo 4 there, man. Blizzard and all. Jeez, unreal. $30. I think it's 28 to be exact, but that's insane. You can get a major DLC or a season pass for that kind of money, but just for one outfit? Yeah, that's terrible. So, later in the video, Moriarty claimed that the executives at Sony and specifically PlayStation Studios boss Herman Hulse were championing the game and believed that the game could be their Star Wars. That's what's really funny, is that they thought it was going to be their Star Wars. And in a way it is, because Star Wars is failing so bad lately. It's complete garbage these days. Ever since Disney got a hold of it, all they've done is run that IP into the ground, you know, by releasing just one piece of crap project after another, and just its value diminishes every time something's released for Star Wars, whether it be a TV series, a movie, a video game, whatever. It's just going down the toilet. And that's a shame, because that's something I loved as a child. And it's a shame to see people who don't appreciate it and who have zero talent putting their hands on it and just ruining it, turning it into this garbage fest that it's been. But, Concord, well, at least they did it right from the start. So there's nothing to destroy there because there was nothing built. He noted that at Sony they were describing the game as the future of PlayStation, that they had such major ambition for the game that it was referred to internally as a Star Wars project for Sony, that it could be repeatedly revisited over and over again for 10 days. Not only in cross-media, but in what we were seeing. He pointed to the game being featured in Prime Video's upcoming Secret Level show, as well as the weekly story vignettes the developers promised, but sadly are never going to be able to deliver. Next, he shared that there was a toxic positivity vibe. This is an interesting subject here. He stated you weren't allowed to say anything internally about the game, about how something was wrong with it. Character designs are not right. They really, truly believed this was Herman Holst's baby, apparently, and he internally was himself a massive champion of the game. Toxic positivity. What is toxic positivity? That's when everybody is all jacked up on something, no matter how bad it is, and they refuse to see any criticism or consider any criticism, no matter how valid it is, where it comes from, and how honestly people are about it, right? You see it all the time. We see it with people, right? Remember Lizzo at her fattest? Everybody's, oh, she's beautiful, blah, blah. No, she's not. She's disgusting. And that's toxic positivity, telling her that she's beautiful and keeping her fat. Now, I know she's on a weight loss journey right now, and great for her. I don't really give a shit because I don't care about her at all. But, if it makes her healthier and all that, then that's a smart move, and that's a good move on her part. So, whatever. Anyway, Concord insider tells Park Place that he does not believe that Probably Monsters will survive moving forward, albeit he does think there are some people who might be able to salvage the company and thread the needle, but only time will tell. He also noted morale at the company is horrifically low. Yeah, we can only imagine how bad that is. I mean, you guys put out a turd of epic proportions. No one has done that to the size of this turd, right? Who else? What other game can you think of? Major online game like this. Even Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, which is a major piece of crap. Similar game with the live service model and all that. Even that is still limping along. Here we are months and months after the fact, after it was released. And this game couldn't even get out of the gate. It just fell on its face right in the mud, and they just pulled it in, put a bullet in it, and said, we're done. Anyway, this is unsurprising given Firewalk Studios concept artist Amanda Queefer previously revealed that employees at Firewalk Studios were terrified of the future. And we've talked about all this stuff. I'm going to kind of skim through this part here. But yeah, they're all worried. And they should be. You guys put out a piece of crap game, and now you pay the price for it, right? If the studio closes, well, I used to feel bad for people in this business when that kind of stuff happens. Now I feel like it's a necessary thing, and it's a good thing. It's not good for them, but it's good for gaming as a whole. More companies need to shut down. Companies, like to watch a company like Ubisoft, if something were to happen to them and shut them down completely, that would be one of the biggest victories for gamers. And when I talk gamers, I'm talking normal people that play video games, not these weird activists who think everything has to be represented in a game and all this other nonsense. No, I'm talking about the real meat and potato gamers, the guys that grew up with video games and they just want a good game and they want to have fun and they want to get out there and enjoy themselves and not be preached to and not be, have the message slammed in their face all the time and all that stupid nonsense. We just want good games, man. We don't want Concord. We don't want the Veilguard. We don't want Dustborn. We want Wukong. We want Stellar Blade. We want great games like that. Yeah, this industry is really shot to hell right now. So if Probably Monster shuts down and most of the people are fired, good. If Firewalk Studios, same thing, good. Hopefully the good people that work at those studios will learn a lesson from this. Go find a job somewhere else and not work for a company that's going to put out woke garbage that is just tainted with all this DEI nonsense, right? Maybe they'll go somewhere and they'll feel things out, look at the projects, but yeah, you know what? I could be a part of this. Maybe they'll go out on their own and they'll create their own little, independent studio. Yay, there's always room for that. Some of the best games are independent games lately, it seems. You know, they could put out some really nice, small, independent games with small studios with just a handful of people in there, and everybody sharing a collective vision and working together to create something cool, and not put all that nonsense in it. If someone starts to pipe up about, well, you know what, maybe we should have, no, out. You're out the door. You're fired. Fire them immediately, because people like that are cancerous, right? They're never happy, and you see it all the time. Everywhere you go, they're never happy. It's like, no, we want gay people in Star Wars, you know, so they put a gay person in Star Wars. You know, no, but that was just a little token thing there. We want them to be up in the forefront, and then you end up with the Alkalite, which is lesbian space witches, and it just totally destroyed what was left of Star Wars. And there wasn't a lot left at that point, but you know, this is what I'm saying. It keeps escalating, and they want more and more and more. It's like give an inch, they want to take a mile thing. My father told me about that when I was young, and I didn't know what it meant till now. And I'm like, oh, you're not kidding. You know, you see it in politics all the time. You see it in the culture war, everything. Don't give them an inch, man. Tell them to pound sand, or, you know, go make your own game. That's what they tell us, right? Don't buy it if you don't like it. You know, if the modern audience doesn't buy your game, what do you miss out on? The sale of, what, 40 people? If real gamers don't buy it, you end up like Concord. Yeah. Anyway, Probably Monsters did appear to be heavily connected with Sony and PlayStation, and it led to PlayStation purchasing Firewalk Studios in April 2023. Probably Monsters CEO and President Harold Ryan said, Probably Monsters is incredibly proud of the team and the game we incubated and built over the past few years. Firewalk Studios joined PlayStation Studios as a brilliant move for the team, game, and future players. Our goal at Probably Monsters is to find the best path to market for all of our games, and we couldn't be happier for the Firewalk team. And their connection goes so far back as the founding of Firewalk Studios and Probably Monsters in 2018. The studio head, Tony Hsu, back in 2021 said, with Probably Monsters support, we were able to really focus on a game concept we've been excited about, and we met Sony in 2018. And since that first meeting with them, they've been incredibly excited and huge supporters of not just the team, but also the project that we're working on. And here's that project. Sweaty Cactus, Chopped Hog, Mad Max, PC, and DMR. I guess those are player names. This character looks semi-playable. I mean, okay, but they all look bad. I hate the color scheme, man. It's really the basis of everything. The character design is terrible, but the color scheme is just horrible, too. I don't know, man. Absolutely don't know. Tell me what you think down below in the comments about this. Do you think Probably Monsters is going to probably shut down? Yeah, I do. And, you know, as sad as that may be, in the long run, it's a good thing. Don't forget to leave a like on the video down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so, and ring that bell for notifications. I'll see you guys next time. Until then, peace.